There he is.
What's going on?
How are you?
Yeah,
How are the last 8 weeks on the kettlebells?
exhausting.
Let's hear about it.
It was super fun. Definitely some pretty big workloads, and I was feeling very fatigued for my riding and everything else. But also, it was just really fun to kind of do it, week after week, and see the improvements. Really like the way it was going, like every 3 weeks going up in weight. I felt like it wasn't that huge of a step, and then by the end of it, I was moving to like 24 kgs, and I was like, wow, like 16 felt hard, whatever, 8 weeks ago, and now 24 is like, I can do that. So it's very cool to see like really good progression and like taking it slow enough that you were doing it in proper progression steps basically, and yeah, it felt really good.
So you ran 2 4-week cycles. One of the weeks of your cycle was a rest week.
So I did like two 3 weeks with a week in between, and then we've got a week in between now. But yeah.
Exactly. And so you had 3 days of workouts with 3 exercises per day.
Yeah.
And then what were your reps teams per week?
It was like 10 reps the first week, 15 the second, and 20 the third. If I could manage it, like I wasn't always hitting the 20s because I was quitting before I was compromising myself. So like some exercises are really hard to do.
What were the changes you noticed over the 8 weeks?
Definitely like I feel like I didn't put any more weight on, but I just felt like I was bigger. So, but I felt like on the bike I had a lot better of a pedal stroke. I like sprinting up or getting up to speed quickly. I felt like I could push a little bit harder, and I felt strong, super strong on the bike. And I don't know if that's just because I've been riding a lot or what it is, but I've been riding really strong, and so that was really cool. And then other than that, in the negative sense, I was just always sore. My body was just yeah sore. It was like I had DOMs almost like consistently throughout the week.
Yeah, and I think that might be partly due to you not being able to do anything lightly.
Yeah, probably.
Always draining the tank. Cool. So that was 8 weeks. Now we're starting up another 8-week program. There's been some changes. Social distancing measures are different now, so you're riding your bike a lot more.
Yeah.
We also want to change up your program and maybe put some more like bike and race specific exercises in.
Well, now that we're moving closer to Zermatt, it's like if that's going to happen, I feel like I need to start transitioning into proper strength training and not just like kettlebell strength training.
So now that you're going to be on your bike a lot more, we have to be a little bit more precise on what exercises you're doing, compact, quicker, so that you can get the work done and then not be so fatigued on the bike when you're doing your on-bike training as well.
Definitely.
Now we're going to change your program from 3 days a week to 2 days a week. We wrote you up a day 1 workout and a day 2 workout. Your day 1 is your anterior chain, so the front of your body, working on strength. And we threw some power moves in there as well, just getting more of that race-specific exercises. This is your day 1. And then your day 2 is your posterior chain. And that's day 2.
Sweet. Yeah, looks good.
So from the new program, you said that the exercises you wanted to review. See what I can help you with.
Yeah, which one do you want first? The single leg deadlift?
Yeah. So your single leg deadlift is essentially your Romanian deadlift. So the knee's bent, but the angle at the knee stays straight the entire time. And you're just trying to move through the hip while maintaining a neutral spine. The big thing I want you to work on there is not letting that lifted leg go bent. I want you to kick this right leg as far back to the back wall and lead with your heel. If you extend that leg as far as you can, you'll feel that right hip turn on, and that'll actually give you quite a bit more stability.
Right.
And then the other thing I want you to focus on is not letting your hip open up like this.
Yeah.
So that's just a compensation because you're trying to stack all your weight on top of your single foot. Use the stabilizers in this hip. Keep the right hip down so the right hip is level with with the floor. So you're not open like that. You're closed down. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. And why two-handed and not one-handed?
Easier,
Yeah,
and it'll give you perfect form rather than compensating.
sure.
Give that a shot. Yeah, so really try to like point your left toes towards me.
Yeah.
Internally rotate your left leg to keep that left hip down, and then take your left heel and kick it to the back wall. And then really try to like tuck your pelvis under on the last third of that movement, like get a posterior pelvic tilt as you come all the way up.
Mm-hmm. Taking that leg out really forces more happening in like the hamstrings and the glutes and the low back, which is nice. Okay, what's next?
So rear foot elevated split squat, we're gonna go overhead with the kettlebell. So if the right leg's back, the weight's in your right arm. The key with this one is I want to see your shin vertical, your front shin vertical the whole time. And I want you to be loading through the left heel on the way down and pushing through the left heel on the way up. Nice. One more. Perfect. I usually start from the bottom and at the back of my ankle there. Start from the bottom, rack it up, press, get your balance, and make sure this shin stays vertical the whole time through the movement. So you really actually do need to step this foot forward more. If the foot's closer to you, it ends up being a lot more of a quad exercise than a hip exercise when you're coming up. So it's here. And I love the weight up overhead for this because it forces you into that thoracic extension.
Yeah.
A lot of people you see doing this exercise are curled forward like this. If they're holding the weight here or holding the weight down here, if you have it up overhead,
It forces you to put it up.
Position. So rack it. Now this is the hardest rep right here. It's pushing through the right heel, coming all the way up. Exhale on the way up. One, nice. 60% of your weight should be in that front foot, 40% in the back foot. The back foot's just there for balance. Thinking about loading through the heel of your front foot. Nice tall spine.
It's important to focus on that weight to the heel because I feel like when you're doing that weight on the heel, that's what really gets it into the hamstrings and up into the glutes, like connects all those things together. And that's when you're doing a pedal stroke and like your quad is obviously doing a lot of the downstroke, but it's still that like hamstring and glute that kind of pull it back around and it keeps it all strong.
Any questions there?
No, I like that one.
So the skater squat. So that's a single leg squat variation. Why I like this one is it's a single leg squat progression. You can really see improvement week to week by using a target to do your single leg squat down to. So I can use my kettlebell as a target. So you're just going to stand in front of a couple of textbooks or something like that on one leg. I want you to put your arms out and your leg comes back. Tap your knee down to the kettlebell, come back up. Tap your knee down to the kettlebell, come back up. Again, I like this because it keeps you up nice and tall. And then as you get better and better, you can use things that are lower and lower. And then you can go to the floor as well.
Cool. I'll use a tire.
So toes don't touch the ground, that knee just taps. Think about having the knee track over top of your second toe. Not letting your left knee fall inward, keeping it over top of your toes and keeping your hip over top of your knees. Nice. Try and sit back, knees behind the toes. Big tall chest, don't let yourself round.
Yep.
Want to try no tire? Nice. Last one.
I feel like when I'm doing that, though, isn't my knee coming too far forward?
The interesting thing with that exercise, when you get that low to the ground, your knee has to come forward. And so sometimes you'll notice a difference from side to side just based on how much ankle range of motion you have.
Yeah.
So if your ankle locks out early, you'll get stuck and you won't feel like you'll be able to get all the way to the ground. So there is quite a need for the dorsiflexion in your ankle to be able to let you to go that low. So often if people are struggling with that exercise, you need to look at more than strength. You need to look at the overall mobility of the hip, the knee.
Well, and this exercise isn't really doing the same thing as that split squat. The split squat allows you to get deeper into that glute and that hamstring with
the snatch to squat. So you've been spending a lot of time doing overhead work, Turkish get-ups, clean to press, and snatches. A nice progression of that is turning your snatch and catching it into a squat. Last time we were snatching, so we were just swinging through and up, keeping the velocity of the kettlebell the same the whole time through. Now, at the top, you're loading the weight into your shoulder. And as you're loading it into your shoulder, you're dropping down into an overhead single arm squat. Okay? So again, start with the weight in front of you so you can get that first swing up like we talked about with the kettlebell swings.
Yeah.
The key is going to be as you swing that weight back, let the arm that's not holding the weight swing back. Then when you throw it up to catch it into the squat, use that arm for balance so you can get into that overhead squat. So it's arm back, arm forward catch, arm back, arm forward catch. From the other angle, start with it in front, bring it through, up, catch.
All right.
Try and punch the sky, keep the right elbow straight. Sit back into that squat. One more. Nice. So one thing there, Jesse, when you're snatching it, snatch it right up overhead, not out at the side. When it's out at the side, it's going to actually, if you catch it out here, it's going to pull you over there. So come up, catch, and drop. Yeah. The further it's away from your center, the more it's going to make you feel crooked. So start with that weight in front of you. Inhale, bring it between your legs. Let the left arm swing back with it. Exhale, press up, squat. Get that weight over your shoulder, not out to the side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Switch arms. Yeah, and you can flow that. Nice. Perfect. 1. Right arm reaches forward. Reach it forward. Yeah. 3. Spine tall. Chest up tall. 4. 5. Yes. Perfect. Definitely easier on the right side.
I feel like already they're getting a little bit better. Just like understanding the movement to bring it up and then like kind of help have that momentum, catch it, and then help you like keep yourself on your heels.
I really like the snatch squat because your back and your pelvis need to be strong enough to stabilize you with that weight overhead, while allowing for movement to happen through the pelvis. As you're squatting, your pelvis is actually posteriorly tilted. So it doesn't just have to statically stabilize. It has to stabilize and then slowly let muscles get longer.
Like I struggle with that. Like the video you attach and then watching you do it looks easy. And I'm like, I can't. It's very hard to do that.
For sure. And that's the thing with kettlebells that we talked about last time is there's a lot of prerequisites of mobility, of strength, of motor control, of proprioception, of balance, coordination that are required with kettlebells. And a lot of people veer away from them because the learning curve at the start is relatively flat and then it takes off. And so once we can get your muscles and your spine more comfortable in that extended position, the brain and the nervous system give you the right to move in that position and to hold strength in that position.
What's the benefit for me doing that exercise? Like, how does that translate to my bike?
I just like how it's a power movement. It's a squat pattern, and there's a stability piece to it. Last exercise is a plyometric squat hop. For an exercise to be a plyometric, we need to have a loading phase where the muscles are absorbing energy, and then an exploding phase where the muscles are releasing energy.
Mm-hmm.
So for your two exercises I put a broad jump and a vertical jump in for day 1 and day 2. They're split up.
And what are the difference? Like, why broad and not just vertical? Like, what does jumping forward do that up doesn't?
Yeah, so there'd be more hips for a broad jump and more quads for a vertical jump. Like there's a lot more power coming from hip extension when you're doing a broad jump, whereas when you're doing a vertical jump, it's more the knee extension that pops you up. So I like using a step so you can absorb that first repetition off the step. So you go load, explode, just step down, load into a squat, arms go back, up, nice. So as you drop down, let the arms come back and then up. Inhale as you absorb, exhale as you jump. Nice. Try that one more time. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see you just step down and have those knees fall inward. Land in your best squat and explode. So don't let any collapse happen through the knees. Go for it. There we go. Nice. Yeah, so big quad squeeze at the top. So you're getting like the biggest contraction you can when you're in the air, absorbing smoothly, and then do a second repetition.
Cool.
Is that everything I can help you with? Those are all the exercises from the program?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm sure I'll have more questions down the road, but it's a good start.
For sure.
And what do you expect is going to happen to, like, you know, all of that stuff that I built for like so much kettlebell? Like, is that just going to pare down to just what I need for the bike and I won't like lose too much?
Specificity is key. So you're good at whatever you do a lot of. So you're good right now at snatches and cleans and presses because you were just doing them for 8 weeks. You are going to take a step back on those, but it'll take less time to get good at them again. And we're keeping the foundations, like we're keeping the clean and press, we're keeping the snatch, we're keeping Turkish get-ups in your warm-up. So a lot of those moves are going to stay. We're just going to do them lighter.
And so what are my like goals, or what's my focus for these workouts? Like, I shouldn't be going to like absolute fatigue then. It's just kind of like doing the reps and the weights that you tell me to doing them properly and knowing that's going to like transfer to my riding.
Yeah, so think of it that you only have a certain amount of like credit in a bank account that you can spend, and as you spend it, you're more and more fatigued. You need to think that you have to split that up to 5 on-bike days per week, as well as 2 gym workouts and everything else that you do. So think about just completing these workouts. You don't need to go above and beyond. It's okay to do less. You don't need to train everything and put everything into the workouts. The off season, like the off season, is when you're thinking the most and giving the most priority to the gym. Right now, we're thinking more on bike is equally and more important than in the gym.
Yeah. I need to change my mindset then.
Doing less and doing it successfully, doing it well, and not having any hiccups or having any aches and pains gets you way further than doing something super hard and then having some sort of injury and needing to go to a physio. So yeah, thinking about workload and thinking about your overall stress throughout the week, as well as how that week fits into the other weeks before and after. Yeah. And so right now, if something needs to get missed, a strength workout would be okay to be missed.
Well, and to say too, like we didn't go through it, but you give me now I do a pretty thorough warm up with my strength routine. So I like that. I do try to do those warm ups every time I go riding, but definitely for these workouts, I'm doing a 30, 45 minute like movement, little like back strengthening, shoulder strengthening before I'm doing this stuff. And I like doing that 2 to 3 times a week. Like that's when I get, it's kind of like, it's not yoga, but it's like my yoga where I'm moving my body and I'm getting everything kind of like worked out and ironed out. And so that's something I think is beneficial with these workouts. So if I'm feeling tired and maybe not into the strength workout, I'll probably still try to do like just the warm up just to kind of get my body moving.
Perfect. Let me know if you need anything.
Sure.
Otherwise, have fun with this one and send me videos and I'll help you out.
Sounds good.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you later.